Welcome back to the Mental Health Pit Stop, a channel where I provide you quick and easy tips to help you manage your mental health on the go. In today's video, we're going to look at techniques to help you overcome your negative thoughts and to explore how they might be holding you back. As always, these views are completely my own and at no point should be taken as treatment for any symptoms that you may relate to in this video. Now let's explore how we can begin to overcome our negative thoughts. It's crucial to understand that everybody experiences negative thoughts about themselves at various points in their life. These thoughts can be a natural part of our mental process, but sometimes it can affect us more than we'd like. Negative thoughts can present themselves as negative self-talk or reflections about your life. This can cause us to feel hopeless and disappointed, bringing our mood down and stopping us from achieving our goals. Due to these thoughts having such an impact on our mood, sometimes we can begin to act out how we feel. When we begin to feel depressed, we may develop a negative view on ourselves, the world, and the future, which influences how we interact with our environment. These difficult emotions can impact our behaviors in the short term, but in extreme cases, the long term as well. In cognitive behavioral therapy, we refer to these thoughts as negative automatic thoughts due to their spontaneous and automatic nature. In recognizing that our moods can create biased thought patterns, it makes sense to find alternative ways of thinking to counteract these effects and create a more balanced view of our perceptions. A technique called cognitive restructuring helps us achieve this by identifying, examining, and challenging our unhelpful thoughts. This gradual process uses strict criteria to determine whether our thoughts are rooted in reality or are simply manifestations of our emotions. Let's work through an example. Suppose a friend cancelled a trip that you had planned for weeks and you started to experience negative automatic thoughts, such as, they would rather hang out with someone else. They knew I was looking forward to this trip. My friend hates me and that's why they cancelled. Naturally, you're likely to start experiencing strong feelings towards this situation. So start by identifying what these emotions are. For instance, you might feel low, anxious, disappointed, or even slightly annoyed. To begin reconstructing your thoughts, it's important to choose the primary emotions from which your chosen thought had stemmed from. In order to do this, start rating the intensity of each emotion on a scale from 0 to 100. The emotion with the highest rating may indicate where these thoughts might be coming from. To determine how much a thought is interacting with your emotions, we need to identify how much you believe your chosen thought using a scale of 0 to 100. Let's assume that we have a 70% belief that this thought is true. Once you've done this, we can now start to explore the skill of thought challenging. Imagine yourself in a courtroom, noting down all the roles and the responsibility of each of the participants: the defense, the prosecutor, and the judge. The defense aims to show that the accused is truthful, whereas the prosecutor presents evidence that the accused is not truthful. Finally, the judge weighs all the evidence and decides the ruling. In this exercise, you will play all three roles. Using the courtroom setup, start providing evidence for and against your chosen thought. Just like in court, focus on the best quality evidence. The best type of evidence are those that are factual rather than opinionated. Keep this in mind as you evaluate your thought. Starting with the defense, some examples might be, they've done this before, it's the second time it's happened this year. Moving on to the role of the prosecutor, some examples could be, my friend did mention they were very busy this week and therefore it is possible that something may have come up. My friend doesn't normally cancel, so maybe it was something urgent. They have cancelled before and we were able to reschedule with no problem. My friend has never actually told me that they hate me. Once you have summed up all the evidence, start to revise the thought that you originally had using the evidence that you've gathered. This could look like, I had the thought that my friend hates me and that's why they cancelled, because this isn't the first time. In fact, it's the second time they have cancelled a planned trip this year. However, they did mention they were busy this week, so maybe something came up. Even though they have cancelled twice, we normally do hang out together. Previously, when a plan was cancelled, we always rescheduled afterwards and everything was fine. Now, you're gonna want to rate how much you believe this revised thought, plus re-rate how much you believe the initial thought and how much you are feeling the emotion that was attached to it. For example, we might believe the revised thought 90%, rate the original thought as a 10%, and finally the original emotion at a 5%. Keep in mind that this technique requires practice and patience, so don't worry if you don't get it first time. The goal is to identify the negative thoughts that can drive those unhelpful patterns of behavior. We're not trying to change negative thoughts into positive ones, but rather rebalance our thoughts so they reflect a more realistic view of reality rather than one that's being skewed by our negative emotions. That is the process around how to challenge our negative thought. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. As always, stay curious, stay positive, and take take small steps towards a healthier mind. Until next time, take care.